Hello, good afternoon. My name is Asia Stupart, and I'm the MEFA Pathway Program Coordinator. Thank you so much for joining me today. We will be talking about the college cost calculator within MEFA Pathway. Today we'll take about 10 minutes to talk about the college cost calculator and how this feature can be useful for students and how you can help students while they are utilizing this particular feature. Just a quick note that this webinar is being recorded, so if you have to hop off early or you miss a few steps along the way, no worries. I will be providing a link to this recording today, and you can view this webinar at any time and at your convenience. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat or ask it at the end of our session today. I'll make sure to answer any and all questions that come in. And last but not least, rather, as one thing I want to mention is the MEFA Institute. If you are an educator who is looking for professional development opportunities, the MEFA Institute is a great resource for you. So I definitely encourage you to fill out this evidence of learning form after this webinar, and you will be able to receive credit for attending today. And if there are any other webinars that you have attended, both either live or recording, make sure that you fill out the evidence of learning form that can be found on MEFA.org. And then if you just select the MEFA Institute, then you can select school counselors. And then you scroll down a bit to the bottom and select evidence of learning form. And then it'll bring you to this form here. And then you will just put in your name, email, any contact information that needs to be updated, and then the lesson. And lastly, just a couple questions that pertain to what you learned and how it will strengthen your practice. All right, so let's get started. So if you are not familiar with MEFA Pathway is a free, easy, and interactive platform designed for students in grades 6 through 12 to help them plan for post-secondary success. One of the many things that I love about MEFA Pathway is the fact that it really supports all students and every student, regardless of their path, regardless if that includes college, 2-year or 4-year, or even going into the workforce or the military. With MEFA Pathway, there's truly something for everyone. So I am on mefapathway.org. I am going to select I am a student. And for any first-time user with MEFA Pathway, students are encouraged to register for an account. The registration process is pretty straightforward. There are sort of 3 pages. The first one is just asking the student to provide their first name, last name, date of birth, their school, and the location of their school. And then the next page will ask the students to input security questions and answers to those questions. And then the last page is when the student will be able to provide a username and password to complete creating their account. But for any student that already has an account, they can easily log in with their username and password. And one thing I also wanted to mention is this Clever integration. And if you are on the webinar today and you are curious about Clever, or your school utilizes Clever, and you want to learn more about how to integrate Clever with MEFA Pathway, definitely reach out to myself or anyone on the MEFA Pathway team, and we can definitely talk about what that will look like and how to get you set up. But if you're not familiar with Clever, essentially Clever is a platform or easy integration that allows for single sign-on capabilities. So with Clever, students have 2 ways to log in. They can log in for any Clever school. They can log in through the Clever gallery, and they select the MEFA Pathway chiclet, or students can come to mefapathway.org and select log in with Clever and then be easily brought into mefapathway.org. So I'm going to log in with my username and password. And here we can see that this is Zoe's dashboard. Zoe is a 10th grade student. We can see that Zoe has a variety of activities that she can complete exactly from the dashboard, whether Zoe wants to create her profile or a resume or review her course plan. Zoe can continue a variety of activities that will help her stay on track. So since we'll be talking about the college cost calculator, I'm going to hover over to my right and select Pay for College. Here we'll be able to dive in a bit more about the college cost calculator. So at the top menu bar next to my scholarship list, I'm going to select College Cost Calculator. Now, there are essentially 3 steps that students will want to be mindful of as they are utilizing the college cost calculator within MEFA Pathway. The first step allows students to either select colleges from their college list, their My State Benefits plan. They can either browse colleges or they can even search by colleges by typing in the name. The college list is a place where students, if they are searching for colleges and they find any colleges that is of interest to them, they can easily have a repertoire of all of those colleges. The My State Benefits plan is another resource that allows students to explore different paths to college. And that includes programs like Commonwealth Commitment, for example, where it allows students to start at a community college and transfer into a state college within the program. And the whole goal of programs like Commonwealth Commitment is to help students get to college and also save on their road to college. So students are able to save decent amount of savings by starting at a community college and then transferring into a state college. But for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to select my colleges from my college list. So I'm going to select LaSalle College. And the next step after a student adds in or selects their college rather, is they'll want to input the college costs. So typically the in-state tuition fees and the room and board will typically automatically populate within MEFA Pathway. However, if a student sees that their room and board and their tuition is not populated, here they'll want to input those numbers in themselves. So if they know, like if they have their award letter and they know how much their tuition is or how much their room and board is, they can easily input those numbers. So I'm also going to put in my books and supplies as my college cost. I'm not going to put anything for health insurance. And then just a tip is if you are working with a student that has health insurance and is on mom or dad's or a guardian's health insurance, definitely have health insurance waived. It's important that students know that they can waive health insurance if obviously they have to have health insurance, but if they don't take the school's health insurance, then they can have it waived. If they do not waive having the school's health insurance, it will be factored into a cost as well. So for my health insurance, I'll put 0, extra expenses, I'll put 0 as well. So we can see that the total cost per year for LaSalle College is $54,000. Step 3, the students will want to add in their financial aid. So any award that your students have received from their college, whether that's a scholarship, a grant, loans, anything of the sort that a student has received, they'll want to input that as their financial aid. So for a state scholarship, we can put in 5,000 institutional, 5,000 again, and any outside or private scholarship that the student has received. So if they applied for a scholarship through their local church or a community center or a local grocery store, any scholarship that they've applied for outside or private, they'll want to type in the name of that scholarship. So I'll just put in ABC scholarship, and then I'll put in the amount. And then you can see that our outside private scholarships is now 2,000. Next, we have grants. So any grant that the student has received, they can put that on as well. Even if the student has not received any grants as part of their financial aid, if it's just 0, they can leave it blank or listed as 0. But if they did receive an amount for a grant, they can put in those numbers as well. So I'll just put in a state grant and I'll do an institutional grant. Next, we have loans, federal, unsubsidized, subsidized, and any other loan that the student has received. So let's put in our subsidized, and we'll do subsidized and unsubsidized, and then work study. All right, so we have all of our numbers, just reviewing everything, the school, the college costs, the financial aid numbers, and then we can see the total financial aid is 23,500. Now I'm going to select this green button that says calculate my cost gap. All right, so we can see LaSalle College, and we can see that the annual cost gap for this particular college is $30,000. The 4-year cost gap is a little over $100,000. So what is nice about the college cost calculator is that students can compare up to 5 colleges at one time. Students get a side-by-side comparison of all of their colleges in which they have received award packages for. So definitely this is a great tool because it helps students see the final numbers just on one screen and side by side. And this helps them kind of make that decision of where they can afford, where the family might be able to afford, but also just kind of getting further into the details of what might be possible financially. So we have LaSalle College here, and again, students can compare up to 5 colleges at one time, get that side-by-side comparison. They can add colleges and they can also add plans. So I'll quickly show if a student wants to add a plan to the college cost calculator. I'll select Bunker Hill, and we can see, for example, again, kind of talking about the Commonwealth Commitment Program, Gen Ed Foundation Program is a similar program where students do 1 year at a community college and then they transfer in and do 3 years at a state college within the program. So for example, I start at Bunker Hill and then I transfer into Salem State. And we can see by doing that, that the total cost per year is around $10,340. So that's a big saving compared to starting 4 years at Salem State University. I'll also put in some scholarship money as well, just so we can see the side by side. And then I'll do a loan. And then I'll do work study. And then calculate cost gap again. And here again, we have a side-by-side comparison. We have LaSalle College, which is a 4-year university, and then we have the Gen Ed Foundation program, which students start at a community college and then transfer into a state college. So we can see just side by side that the annual cost gap is $1,840. The 4-year cost gap is $41,000. So definitely encourage students that to hover over icons like this eye icon, just so that they understand more about what the cost gap is and what the annual cost gap will include. And again, these are all just sample numbers, so they may not reflect an actual award letter. But if a student has an award letter and they want to come in, we definitely encourage them to do so. So again, you can see the total savings, particularly for this school. And then last but not least, students, once they compare up to 5 colleges, they can save their results as a PDF. And this is helpful to also know that they can save their results and they can review it at any time as well. All right, so thank you. That concludes our webinar today. Just know that the College Cost Calculator is available and it helps students compare side by side up to 5 colleges at one time. MEFA Pathway is completely free and is easy and interactive. So if you have any questions about becoming an affiliate, or you already are an affiliate and you want to kind of talk a bit more about how to utilize more features and functions within MEFA Pathway, please feel free to get in touch with us. And last but not least is that this webinar is being recorded. So if you joined us late today, no worries. I'll be sending you all a link to view this webinar at any time. And make sure you tap into the MEFA Institute so you can get credit for attending this webinar and any other webinar that is available. All right, my name is Asia Stupart and have a great day.